All right, let's dive into a company that has us scratching our heads a bit. Bolt Projects Holdings, Inc., BSLK for those following along.
Definitely a head scratcher.
This one's for you, Charging Rhino.
Thanks for the request.
BSLK is all about biomaterials, aiming for those eco-friendly solutions we're all looking for these days, especially in beauty and personal care.
Sustainable. Right. The kind of stuff everyone wants.
Sounds promising on the surface.
Yeah, you think so. Right.
But here's where it gets interesting.
It's a little weird.
They're facing delisting from the NASDAQ.
Yeah.
And their stock has taken a serious hit.
Tanked.
Over 93% from its high. But at the same time, there's this little flurry of, well, speculative trading.
People are gambling a bit.
So what's the deal?
We're going to unpack it all.
Later on, I've got a fun fact about one of their innovations.
Oh, I like fun facts.
You might even have it in your closet right now.
Really?
Yeah, we'll get to that. But first, let's make sense of this company.
So BSLK is at a crossroads. Big potential in sustainable materials. Huge market. Growing all the time.
Makes sense.
But the financials,
Not so good.
it's a puzzle.
All right, let's start at the beginning. What are these, like, groundbreaking products?
Their core products are BSLK protein,
Okay.
My Milo,
All right.
and MicroSilk.
3 of them. Okay.
BSLK protein, think sustainable silicone replacement for cosmetics, things like that.
Lexi,
Then you've got Milo, that's the buzzy one.
the buzzy one.
It's a leather kind of thing, but made from mycelium.
Mycelium, what is that?
Basically mushroom roots.
So mushroom leather.
Exactly.
Wow, okay.
And then MicroSilk, bioengineered silk fiber. They're aiming to, like, disrupt textiles.
Okay, so big markets, big ideas.
For sure.
But their revenue, it's not exactly, screaming success, is it?
Yeah, that's the red flag.
You mentioned it was like 1.49 million in the last 12 months?
Yep.
That's tiny, right?
And here's the real kicker. They had zero revenue for 3 years.
What, 3 years?
2020 to 2022. Zilch.
Yeah. How's it even possible?
There could be a few reasons. Production hiccups, maybe. Scaling issues. Or maybe even just not enough demand back then. But they don't really tell us. That's the problem.
Lack of transparency, huh?
Big time.
You think a company wanting to change the world would have, a little more to show for it?
Right. You'd think so.
Do you think they're just getting crushed by competition?
Competition's definitely a factor. The biomaterials market is hot. Lots of players. Some big, some established. BSLK, they're going up against some giants.
But that doesn't explain everything, does it?
Nope. Got to look internally, too.
Okay, let's talk about the people in charge, then.
Leadership, that's key.
Is the CEO, what's his name? Dan Widmeyer.
Yeah, Dan Widmark.
Is he the right guy for the job?
Well, that's stock decline. And the whole NASDAQ delisting thing. Not exactly inspiring confidence.
No, not really.
And what's concerning is there's no clear communication.
About what?
About how they're going to turn things around. Investors are left in the dark.
So, a lack of transparency from the top.
That's never a good sign.
Anything else about the management that's, setting off alarm bells?
Well, their financials, they played it, let's just say, unconventionally.
What do you mean?
They reported a big net income recently.
Sounds great, right?
Yeah, sounds good. Except it didn't come from their products.
Where'd it come from?
They sold off assets, basically parts of the company.
They're selling off pieces.
Yeah. And meanwhile, their core business is losing money.
Hold on, so they're making it look good by selling off parts, while the actual business is bleeding money.
Exactly.
That's not sustainable.
Right at all.
And to make it weirder, they're not doing dividends.
Nope.
Not buying back stock.
Nada.
And not really investing in R&D.
It makes you wonder, where's the money going?
Yeah, it's like a black hole.
Right. Bit of mystery.
Okay, so management's got some explaining to do. Their financial decisions are, well, odd.
To say the least.
But let's get into the nitty-gritty. How bad are the financials, really?
As of February 18th, 2025, BSLK is trading at, get this, 66 cents a share?
66 cents.
That puts their market cap at just over $21 million.
Wow.
But here's the scary number. Their debt-to-equity ratio is negative 256.7%.
Negative? What does that even mean?
It means they owe way more than they own. It's like imagine having a credit card bill that's like 3 times bigger than your house is worth.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, not good.
So not only are they not making money, they're drowning in debt.
Pretty much.
And to add insult to injury, they have a tiny team, right? Like a dozen people.
12 employees as of December. Can 12 people really turn this ship around? It makes you wonder.
It's an uphill battle for sure.
Definitely. And we've only scratched the surface. We still need to look at market sentiment, who owns the company.
Right, all that.
And then we'll do a full risk assessment.
Stick with us. We'll be right back with more on Bolt Projects Holdings. And don't forget, I've got that surprising fact about one of their products. You might be more familiar with it than you think. I'm intrigued. So, we're back. Still digging into BSLK. Before, we were talking about their financials, management. Kind of shaky, right?
Not looking great.
But what about the mood around the company? Are investors spooked, or do people still have faith?
It's funny, you've got the fundamentals saying, like, danger, danger.
Right.
Low revenue, debt, those weird financial moves.
Red flags everywhere.
But then you see that stock jump.
278% in a week? I mean, come on.
People are speculating.
So are they betting on a comeback?
Maybe.
Is it like a secret gem?
Speculation is tricky.
How so?
It's often driven by emotion, momentum, FOMO.
Fear of missing out.
Exactly. Not always logic.
So for our listener, Charging Rhino,
Yeah.
what should they make of all this speculation?
Good question. Are you a short-term player looking for a quick buck? Or are you investing for the long haul?
Long-term, you want solid fundamentals, right?
Sure.
And BSLK. Well, their long-term picture isn't exactly clear.
Very murky.
But their products, some of them are pretty cool.
Yeah, some neat stuff.
Like that Milo material.
The mushroom leather.
Yeah. Big names have used it. Adidas, Stella McCartney.
It's proof they can innovate.
But got to count for something, right?
Absolutely. It shows they have good ideas, they can get attention, get big brands on board, but
But what?
can they turn that innovation into profit?
That's the key, right?
Can they scale up, control costs, build a real business around these cool products?
A good idea isn't enough.
Nope. You got to be able to execute.
All right, so let's look at who's actually invested in BSLK. Who owns this company?
Well, institutional ownership is pretty low.
Meaning?
Not a lot of big investment funds are in on this. It's mostly individuals holding shares.
Typical for a small company, right?
Yeah, microcap like this, it's common.
What about the execs? Are they buying or selling stock?
Those insider transactions, they can tell a story.
How so?
If executives are buying stock, it can mean they believe in the company's future. Selling. Maybe they're losing faith.
Interesting. What about BSLK?
No big insider moves recently. And the CEO, his equity stake is pretty small.
Not putting his money where his mouth is. Huh?
Yeah, makes you wonder.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. The business, the management, the financials, who's buying, who's selling. To wrap it up, let's do a classic SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats.
Good idea, lay it all out.
So strengths first. What's BSLK good at?
Innovation, definitely. Their products, their tech, they're addressing a real need, sustainability. Huge plus.
Okay, that's a strength, but weaknesses. We've got to be honest.
Oh, yeah. Big weaknesses. Their financials, that's the elephant in the room. The debt, the low revenue, the, creative accounting.
And the management issues too, right? Lack of transparency, CEO not super invested.
Exactly. All of that erodes confidence.
Okay, so innovation's good, but the money stuff, the management, not so much. What about opportunities, though? Can they turn things around?
Oh, the opportunity is huge. The market for sustainable materials, it's booming. People want eco-friendly stuff.
So BSLK is in the right space, at least.
But can they capitalize on it? That's the question.
Right. What else?
Partnerships. If they could team up with bigger companies, get access to resources, distribution, that could change the game.
Yeah, partnerships could be key. All right, last one. Threats. What's keeping BSLK up at night?
Delisting, that's the most immediate threat. If they get kicked off the NASDAQ, it's going to be tough to attract investors.
It's like a death knell for a lot of companies.
Pretty much. And then, of course, there's competition.
Can't forget about that.
The biomaterials space is heating up. They've got to stay ahead of the curve or they'll get left behind.
So it's a race against time, really. Fix the finances, improve management, beat the competition, all while trying to ride this sustainability wave.
That's a lot.
A lot indeed. Now, before we move on, remember that surprising fact I mentioned?
Oh, yeah, about their product.
Oh, Milo, the mushroom leather. It's actually already out there.
Really?
Yeah, Adidas and Stella McCartney have used it in their products. You might even own something with Milo in it.
Wow, that's cool. So they have brought something to market.
They've got the innovation part down. It's the rest that's a bit messy.
It's a mixed bag, that's for sure.
So, Charging Rhino, what do you think? We've laid it all out. Is BSLK a risky bet or a hidden gem? What are your takeaways from this deep dive? Let us know in the comments. We want to hear from you.
And if you're into this kind of deep dive, exploring companies and trends, make sure to subscribe to Stock Analytics AI on YouTube.
We'll be back with more soon, so hit that subscribe button. And remember, AI is a tool, not a fortune teller.
Do your research. Talk to your financial advisor.
Make smart decisions. All right, folks, that's it for today. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of Bolt Projects Holdings. Until next time, stay curious.